love the sweet potato pie. Even the keenest taste buds will tell you the best food on the planet. Large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. So get the Henrys at 5431 Indian Head Highway, Oxon Hill, Maryland, or give us a call at 301-749-6856.
Soul food, Henry's soul food. What we need, soul food. Henry's soul food.
Welcome to the Armstrong Williams Show, brought to you by Golden Crust Bakery, the fastest growing Caribbean-owned franchise in the United States. Golden Crust is committed to the delivery of quality food and excellent customer service. Visit them today at goldencrustbakery.com. Now, don't you know, I did not know that Dr. Bobby Fleischer would be in England today until I was just informed by Nancy. We should have planned our trips together. I mean, Italy is not that far from England. Everything is in Europe. I'm sure I would have gone by to England. We had a delightful time over tea and coffee and, and just... I'm just disappointed I wasn't told. I mean, I thought I was in the loop. I mean, England, we're neighbors. I mean, we're right there together. We got to do a better job of planning. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Armstrong Williams Show. Dr. Reese, how are you today? Dr. Reese is not on? I'm shocked.
Outside of Oxford, England today.
I was about to pass out if I didn't hear your voice today. I was so excited about hearing your voice.
Lashana Tova to you, Dr. Reese.
Hi.
Happy Rosh Hashanah.
Lashana Tova is typically the greeting used in Rosh
What does it
Hashanah.
mean, Rosh Hashanah?
Well, specifically, it's the beginning of the new year. And it's a time for a lot of reflection. Hopefully also for renewal. It's a time to think about things in your own life and in the rest of the world.
I've been thinking about a lot of things in my life this week, especially given the fact that I'm going to Vegas tomorrow.
Oh, dear. Oh my goodness gracious. Well,
and you know what? I don't know, something has been stirring inside me. I just want to go out and have fun. I had a little fun in Italy, but I don't know, for some crazy reason, I really enjoy Las Vegas. I don't know why.
I do too.
I do you?
Too. And I have friends who think that, oh my goodness, how can you like it? But I do. I have to tell you, I even like all the neon signs.
It's just...
I just like the feeling of artificiality. It's just so different from every place else.
You know what? I don't know, other than probably recently in Italy, I have never, ever had so many women to stop me as they do in Vegas and just say some of the most wonderful things to me as a stranger. I mean, and you know what? I begin to believe it because they all could not have been scripted before I arrived, but they will tell you what they want.
What do they say?
Oh, Lord have mercy. Come on, Mama. Don't let me answer that.
You're such a stud, Armstrong.
Well, listen, in Vegas, they will tell you they are bold. It is crazy. That's why they tell you what happens in Vegas
stays in Vegas.
Yeah, so you're not going to tell us, huh?
No.
I guess what happens in Italy stays in Italy, too.
That's not so bad.
Really?
It's a little different, but in Vegas, the energy, the Caesar Palace, it reminds you of Europe and Rome, and it's decadent.
Does.
Yeah, it's so decadent, by the way.
Yeah, it's the decadence, and also years ago, I remember going to a place, I guess it's still there, called Circus.
Circus Soleil.
No, before that.
Oh,
a casino called Circus.
Wow.
And when you walked in, there were you looked up and you saw acrobats overhead, and all the slot machines and games were around a circle inside this place, and in the middle there were people bouncing up and down on trampolines, and there was a show going on, and I looked at this and I thought, I'm in a Fellini movie. It was so grotesque that it was marvelous. It was like a work of art. So strange and so colorful. But that's what I like about Vegas. It doesn't pretend to be what it's not.
You know, and Vegas really appeals to fantasies. It really does.
Yes.
It does.
That's it. I think that's what you're putting your finger on.
And you know what? You can live out your deepest fantasy in Vegas and not even have to search far for it. It usually finds you.
That's true.
It's true. I'm telling you. I have never been so many people. I mean, and it just so bold. You know what? You know how you think things that you would never say? You would never say it.
All the time.
But they say it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I have to say, I think I surprise a lot of my friends and relatives and contemporaries by the fact that I like it so much.
Oh, yeah, I do. And let me tell you, I didn't think I would. And I've gone there so many times on so many different occasions. And I just really, really enjoy it. And the only place I would stay is on the Strip. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, have you gone to Vegas?
I have. Twice.
Oh, you have? Twice?
Oh. The first time was when I was like in second grade. It was for my cousin's wedding. The second time was this past Thanksgiving break. Family reunion on my dad's side in Vegas. And it was fun, but I would have enjoyed it a lot better if I was 21.
Really? Because you could have had permission to do more.
Exactly,
you hesitate
yeah.
to ask why.
I mean, I was still, I guess.
Other than your parents care. You were not free.
Well, yeah, basically.
Have you gone, Alex? Have you gone to Vegas?
No, I still haven't made it to the West Coast, period.
You gotta come, man.
Have you fantasized about Vegas?
I've imagined, especially watching the casino movies and Ocean's 11 and such.
And The Hangover too, right?
Yeah, and The Hangover too. I imagine pretty much all at once happening, all of them happening at once.
Now, there's one thing I am proud of myself when it comes to Vegas.
What's that?
I have never gambled in any of those casinos. I have sat around and watched.
Yeah.
And you know what I say? I've only watched people that have lost. And you know what I say to myself? I won't be their next victim. I've never lost a penny in Vegas.
If you've only watched people that have lost, you've watched most of the people.
Well, yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. Now, I used to be a gambler. I used to go to the French Riviera in Monte Carlo. I used to go to play the dogs here in Laurel, and I would go to San Diego to play the horses, and of course the Pimlico to play the Preakness. But and I used to do the blackjack and all that kind of stuff. But Monte Carlo, I'll never forget this longest day I live. I was down. It's crazy too, by the way. It was really crazy. This is when I was young and stupid. I think I was probably maybe 30, 31. And you know, in the French Riviera, you have the American casino on one side and the French casino on the other. And in the French casino, you got to dress up like $1 million. You got to dress up. I mean, you got to wear suit, tie. Well, thank you. And I dressed up. And you know what? I got so lost on. I think it was the blackjack table that before I realized that I was down $113,000.
No.
Wow.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes. And let me tell you, did I have the money to pay up? I don't even remember. But I remember this. The guy, I went for broke. I went all for broke. The first time I tied with a guy was 1919. The second time it was 2020. The last time I got a 10, he got a 10. They turned his card over. It was 10. It was 20. They turned my card over. It was an ace. When I left that casino, I owed that casino $18.62.
Wow.
And you know what? The Lord is I said to the Lord and to my mama, by the way, I will never, ever gamble like this again. This is over. I lost the taste. Let me tell you something. I was so nervous and so shaken. I was shaking so bad that I thought I was going into having a seizure. I was just shaking.
I can believe
and
that.
people were watching me. And listen, this guy came out with a towel. I was sweating. Everything was wet. I was bloody wet. I'm sure this is no joke. I know they think I wet on myself, but it was sweat. I was so nervous. You think I'm joking? And listen.
I believe that.
Well, but I do too. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what happened when I won? I was in such a state of shock. I sat, and the people came out because when you're down like that, everybody's watching. They took me to the area where I sat, and you think I'm joking? I must have sat there for 2 hours just to realize I really beat the odds. I couldn't believe it because I was thinking, how am I going to? I said they're going to lock me up. What am I going to do? I was so crazy up in there.
Oh, Armstrong, what a lesson!
You know what? I have not told that story enough, actually.
That's
you should tell it more.
Fear like that leaves you really changed.
Oh, listen, I have not been the same kind of gambler. In fact, since that, I literally don't gamble. I play with the horses, but gambling. Oh, listen, because you know what happens? Let me tell you the good thing about life. When you're about to do it, that same feeling comes to you again and overwhelms you.
Yeah.
Oh, it comes back.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Oh, and you know what? Oh, I said I want that. Oh, Thank you. Thank you for the reminder, Conscious. We'll be back. We'll be back. I don't know how we got on this, but here we are. We'll be back.
Say bye-bye burgers, pass on the pizza, forget the francs. Anytime is party time. Discover Golden Cross's authentic Jamaican-style patties. Beef, chicken, vegetables, soya, spinach, and shrimp. Feast on our great taste sensations. Jerk chicken, oxtail, sliced fish, and much more. Savor the taste of the Caribbean. Only at a Golden Cross near you. A family tradition since 1949. GoldenCrossBakery.com.
For more information on the Armstrong Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Hi, this is Armstrong Williams. What does it mean to be conservative? Freedom of speech, freedom of free enterprise, freedom of assembly, less government, less taxes. As a matter of fact, a flat tax. Everyone should pay proportional tax. It doesn't matter whether you make 100 million or 10,000. Everyone should pay their 10%. Everyone should have something at stake in this American economy. I'm Armstrong Williams expressing what we mean by conservative traditional value.
Does your school, team, church, or charity need a new fundraiser? Do you need to work out of your home or part-time? Are you a small business that can use an additional revenue stream? Then you need Yellow Llama. Do you need affordable web services or tools to enhance your existing business? Are you a graphic artist who wants to create a revenue stream with your art but not get ripped off? Then go to www.yellowllama.com.
America must change course if we hope to survive and save the American dream for our children and grandchildren. How do we fix Social Security and Medicare? How do we cut government spending? How do we reform health care? How do we simplify the tax code? The Heritage Foundation has a bold plan that tackles these tough problems using common sense solutions that leave partisan politics on the sidelines. Find out how we can save the American dream at savingthedream.org, paid for by the Heritage Foundation.
Hi, this is Armstrong Williams with an opportunity to own a piece of paradise in Nassau, Bahamas. Spectacular land prices, 8,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet lot, affordable prices, hilltop properties with views of the magnificent sea. Just call 242-677-3120 or 3121 or go to info@rightsidewire.com and leave your information.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
You know, I guess that's why when I hear about Charles Barkley and Floyd Mayweather and those betting $2 and $3 million and losing, it's easy. Because they will let you have the table to yourself and move everybody out of the way. It's just so easy. It's so easy how you can get lost, and when you come out of it, you know, that is a very dark place, though, Dr. Reese. Those casinos, they don't have an camp. They have no clocks. You never can tell what time it is.
Exactly. You can't see outdoors.
You can't see outdoors. There are no windows.
It's almost like a prison.
Right.
No, it's intentional. Everything is always dark.
Right, and then you lose the sense of time, and that's, of course, very deliberate.
Yes.
And it works for many people, unfortunately. I mean, I can see all the pitfalls. I do like to gamble, but my limit is on penny machines.
That's good.
I don't have the nerve. I just don't have the nerves for it. I never had. I love to win, but if I've won $1 on a penny machine, it's very exciting to me. It's the winning. It's not the amount.
You know,
I realize that that's not such a healthy attitude either.
You know, about a couple of years ago, a very dear friend of mine, Marty Bender, who owns Independence Federal Bank, he just turned 80, actually. He loves to gamble. He gambles so much that when he decides to gamble, the Bellagio in Vegas will send a private plane to pick him up. Oh, yeah, from D.C. to pick him up, fly him out to Vegas, put him up, everything. I'm telling you how these casinos work. If you spend at a certain level, they comp all your hotels and everything. But anyhow, he wanted to go to Atlantic City to gamble. He knew people said that I like to gamble. But anyhow, this was a couple of years ago. So I don't know how anybody can take the train. It's the worst. I would never advise anyone to take the train from D.C. to Atlantic City because you have to stop in Philadelphia. You have to get on this rail train. You know what I'm talking about, Dr. Reese?
Oh, yes.
This old train. And then you have to take that train all the way in.
It is old, and those seats are terrible.
Terrible. Let me tell you. So you know I've been on that train. But anyhow, we took the train to Philly, that seller, and then you get off and get on this old train, and it has peculiar hours of how it runs. But anyhow, we went to the I can't even remember which hotel it was. But that's what it was. That's exactly what it was.
How did I know?
That's exactly what it was. And they comped us this huge suites. But anyhow, we went down. I had every intention of gambling. I built myself up. I was going to gamble. He was gambling, and within 20 minutes, he was down $10,000.
20 minutes?
Yes. Within less than a half hour, he was down $10,000. And I'm telling you, and then he said to me, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I forgot the name he labeled me as someone who goes in the casino. It's a name they have and won't gamble. I was in such a state of shock because I thought I was seeing myself all over again. Seriously, I could not gamble.
That was good for you.
He sat at that table for almost 3.5 hours until he was up 12,000. Would not leave.
Wow. Talk about perseverance.
And look, and he was like 78, 77 at the time.
Right.
But for me,
glad his blood pressure survived.
Oh, no, he was calm. He was calm. Wow. And he said, why would you come here and claim you're going to gamble? You do a disservice to me. I wanted to say to him, I just couldn't. I was paralyzed. I couldn't do it. I said, and thank the good Lord I'm at a better place than I was.
You were absolutely at a better place.
But you know what? I did not spend one penny in that casino.
Good for you.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
No, it's just that it's something deep inside of you.
Probably. It's definitely smart.
Okay, yeah definitely.
Yeah. But you know what? You know, it's interesting because what this tells us, they have all kind of places like the lottery, the casinos, to bring out the impulse, the worst that we have, the risque that we have. And people use that and have created an industry, and they make a fortune at the expense of your being bankrupt and miserable.
It's absolutely true, and I have to tell you, Armstrong, every night in Philadelphia, as I'm sure they do in all cities where there are lotteries, state lotteries, they post the numbers right before some of the shows on television. And so my husband, whom you know, Harvey Reese, sits there and says, before the numbers come up, he will say the three numbers that are about to be said. And every single night, he's absolutely wrong. He says, look at what I just saved, because I had the wrong numbers. And he knows he's going to have the wrong numbers every night.
That's fascinating.
Interesting.
That is very interesting. And he has never been right.
Never. Of course, if he were ever right, he would say, oh, my goodness, look at what I lost. But he knows he hasn't really lost because he never would have won.
That is an interesting way of putting things. Because, in that statement, he gambled, but he never lost anything.
Exactly.
That is amazing.
That is amazing.
Because what's the difference? Except you did not take that. That's very interesting. And you know what? It's still a habit, but you're not losing anything.
Exactly. And not only that, you're proving to yourself that you were right not to spend any money.
And the fact that he lost every time, he has to feel good.
Exactly.
Yes.
So losing becomes winning in that situation.
I never heard of such, but that makes all the sense in the world to me, that you play anyhow, you write down the number, and you sit around and waiting like everybody else to see the number come down.
Right. Exactly right.
Wow. And let me tell you, there are so many people addicted to gambling.
Oh, yeah.
And bingo.
Terrible.
And
it is terrible.
And bingo.
And bingo. You know, what does Rosh Hashanah, what is it all this tells us about? I don't know if I'm not going to say that gambling is a sin. I think what the sin is when it becomes obsessive and addictive.
Yes.
I think that is the sin.
And you're losing.
I think that's true. And it's interesting that in Judaism, there aren't that many, other than perhaps very Orthodox people, but I know that the way I was raised, I learned that there weren't such firm restrictions. It was about using sense and doing things in moderation, so that even the children at family celebrations or religious celebrations would have a sip of wine. Not to ever get drunk, but to have a sip of wine. And so you become used to the idea that you can do this in moderation and for a good reason. And it begins these days of reflection and penitence that end with Yom Kippur, where we think you're put in the book of life for another year. Hope.
Yeah, well, personally, I'm Jewish too, Dr. Reese, and basically everything you said is so true. I have to ask, are you a Reformed Jew?
Yes.
Yeah, you're Reformed. Yeah, so am I. So do you fast then on Yom Kippur?
I do.
Yeah, I've started that now.
What does it mean when you say fasting?
That is when you don't eat for 24 hours. You can. You can.
Alex would die.
Oh no, I could make that.
It's so hard to do it, and I'm only going to start doing it recently. Because I really like eating food, and so for me, 24 hours is so terrible. But and like when you actually eat after fasting 24 hours, like at first it's like such a shock that you take one bite, and you have to wait a little bit in order for the shock to go away, and then you go on eating and stuff. But at the same time, it felt very worth it, because I felt like I really did kind of. Reflect.
Well, you
on
feel
what
better.
I had yeah,
you feel better.
And the whole point of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur really is, other than just celebrating the Jewish New Year, it's also to reflect on what you did wrong and focus on goals for the upcoming year and how you can improve upon them. And so I guess gambling would fall into that. Like if you're an impulsive gambler, then a goal would be to not work on not being so impulsive. And fasting is one way to do it. Or another another Rosh Hashanah custom that I have done in the past, I haven't done in a while, is you take some bread, you rip off chunks of it, and then you throw each chunk into a river. And each time you throw a chunk into the river, you're throwing away something that you've done wrong in the past year, and you're kind of moving on with it.
Oh, I like that idea.
It's a great
I
idea,
didn't know
isn't
that
it?
one. I like that very much.
I'd never heard that before.
It's not enough to just think about what you did wrong. I think that idea of getting rid of it and moving on is very healthy.
Can you really get rid of it? Does it take a certain
Probably
age,
not,
maturity?
but you can try.
You can try.
Yeah, you can try.
You know,
can
this
try.
is.
I think to expect perfection of yourself is to invite a really neurotic life.
Yeah, I actually hold myself to perfect standards, even though I know I shouldn't. And so, I mean, so unfortunately, it is true. I mean, I constantly beat myself up a lot over, minor things.
Yeah.
But part's just because I can't help it. It's just who I am. But I mean,
Well,
it's not
okay
to say I don't
to
try,
have
but
that striving. I
do strive.
I
Yeah.
think that's wonderful to know what you think would be perfect.
Let's go.
But then you have to forgive yourself for falling short.
Let's go to Rodney, who has a comment. Hello, Rodney.
Hey, Armstrong, this is my favorite day of the week when you have the ladies on.
Yes.
My friend Rodney.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
I want to tell people about Las Vegas as well, in my experience. I have always noticed, because I took up marketing class, that Las Vegas always wants you to look straight or up in the sky. Because if you look down on the ground in Las Vegas, it's the most dirtiest, nastiest city you ever seen.
Hold there. That's interesting. Hold there. We're coming back. Okay. We want to hear what Rodney has to say. The posse will be here. Don't go away.
He said dirty. I never thought about that. I never really looked down at
Armstrong Williams returns in a moment.
Hi, Mike Reagan here. The president has just delayed his Obamacare employee mandate for 1 year. But nothing has changed. The Congressional Budget Office still predicts 7 million Americans will lose their current insurance, and thousands of rules are being implemented today. Obamacare is over 20,000 pages, almost 3 times longer than the whole IRS tax code. Worse, the IRS is now in charge of enforcing the law. You need to protect yourself, your family, and your business with the easy-to-read guide. It's called the Obamacare Survival Guide, already a #1 New York Times bestseller. Newsmax calls it the best guide to the new law. Get the Obamacare Survival Guide today at bookstores everywhere, or get our special $4.95 offer and save $15 off the cover price by going now to Obamacare911.com. Obamacare911.com. That's Obamacare911.com.
Life is full of unexpected changes. Everyone has potential to do wrong. And when they choose to do it, contact the Bucksell Group for your private investigation needs. TheBucksellGroup.com or by phone at 202-243-9746. Whether there's an instance of a cheating spouse, child custody, process service, or security, don't continue suspecting. Get closure so that you can move on with your life. Visit TheBucksellGroup.com now or call 202-243-9746. If you think it's happening, it probably is.
Join the millions of Americans who pursue one of our country's finest traditions, from hunting to sport shooting. Since 1871, the NRA has grown as a service organization involved in all aspects of shooting sports and is a proud defender of the Bill of Rights. Join today to begin taking advantage of exclusive membership offers and discounts, including up to $25,000 in insurance coverage. Contact the NRA today. Call 1-800-672-3888 or visit nra.org.
Most Americans simply have never been taught the basics of money management, let alone how to secure their financial future. But there is hope. Financial Education and Literacy Advisors, also known as FELA, does what others don't. FELA teaches financial education. If you'd like more information about providing a financial wellness program for your employees, or a credit-bearing college course in personal finance, or other valuable programs, please visit myfela.com. That's myfela.com, or send an email to info@myfela.com.
Elder chicks is an exciting part of the fastest growing segment of the population. Women in their 70s, 80s, and older who are mastering the art of a senior life. We're no longer unseen and unheard. We're providing role models for each other and the baby boomers who are fast approaching retirement. Join our virtual community. Hit www.elderchicks.com on your computer keyboard.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
Ronnie, you really have our attention. You said something that I can't wait for you to complete.
Okay, I was just saying, how people always want to look straight ahead or look up in Las Vegas because, if you look down on the ground, it is dirty. It is real nasty and dirty and trash.
Really?
Yeah. You never noticed that?
I never noticed it. What about you, Dr. Reese?
Look down on the ground.
No, I never noticed that either.
No, I never.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's a beautiful city is what comes to mind with me.
Well, whenever they handing out those flyers of,
Always handing out those
ladies of the
flyers.
night and escort services and stuff, and the people just don't want them, they just throw them on the ground. I mean, they're everywhere. And I was like, oh, man, this place is real dirty and nasty. But, Armstrong, I'm really liking you, man, because I don't gamble neither. I just love to go there and just watch the action for some reason. I just, just the atmosphere, just to listen to the coins fall down.
Oh, yeah, the machines. And then when somebody wins, chick, 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 and then money flag. Oh, yeah, brother, I love it.
It's just so exciting, but this is the reason why I never gamble. One lady, I was across the street from a truck stop where I parked my truck at, and they got machines everywhere. They got machines in laundromats, supermarkets everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
So inside this one bar, there were machines in there, and this lady won $10,000. And the guy that came from the casino came over there and said, hey, congratulations, what are you going to do with the money and stuff? She said, well, I want to pay our medical bills, and we can eat tonight, but I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow. It crushed me.
Oh, no.
Man, I was like, oh, my gosh. And then I was at, I can't remember this casino, but I was playing at the roulette table, and I only had $5 chips. And this one guy, I guess he wanted to show off or something. He had a $1,000 chip and put it down where I put mine down. And I just looked at this guy like, are you kidding me? you just betting on this one number. Our odds of winning is just, and we lost. And he just gave me a smirk on his face like it was nothing. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of gambling. And I gave this girl my coins, a bucket of nickels I had, nickels. And I gave it to her and said, just have a good night. And I walked out. Would you believe the security ran me down and asked me why I did that? I was like, oh, my God.
Why would they run you down? Why?
I stopped gambling altogether.
Why would security ask you that, though? I'm curious.
I don't know. It seemed like, because I'm walking around with these coins, and I'm just walking around watching the people having a good time. And I just say, you know what, I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed. And I handed her the coin and said, hey, have a good night, and walked out. And I guess they were surveillancing me or whatever. And said, well, let's see what's up with this guy.
You know what? I will tell you this, though. Trust me on this. The people that you expect to see in the casinos are shocking. You see every sample of American life in that casino. But to me, it's not people with money that's in there gambling. It's people who are struggling to get money that's in there gambling.
Exactly.
That was my biggest shocker.
It is. That's a big shock when you go there. And you even see it more so, I think, in Atlantic City because it's so easy to get there from Philly. All these buses run. With Las Vegas, it's a little more expensive to go. So you see a little more upscale clientele in the casinos sometimes than you see in Atlantic City. But for the most part, that is a shock when you go
That is
to
a shock.
realize that most of the people who are going there really can't afford it.
They can't afford it. And you know what? I think the other thing that surprises me about the casino, first of all, I can't deal with the smoke. I just can't. It's just
Same here.
I just can't. And I mean, the place is so filled with the smoke,
too.
it almost makes your head spin if you're not a smoker. That's one thing I can't deal with. But the other thing that surprises me about the casino is, I go to bed early, like maybe around 9 or 10. I can get up 3 o'clock in the morning, and that place is still packed with people in there gambling. I can go back to bed and go back around 7 in the morning, and they're still in there gambling.
And some of them don't know that it's the middle of the night.
That's my point. They have no idea what time it is.
Right.
But I know by my body clock.
Exactly. Yeah, it's another world. But that's what makes it usually, I think, for most people, a few days is the absolute limit that you can take. I don't think you can stay there long. I can't stay there long. But for a couple of days, you feel like it's almost an out-of-body experience because time is different. The fact that you're not seeing the outdoors if you're in the casino, it's a weird kind of change. And if you're not really hung up on gambling and if you're not going to do it and you're just finding it interesting, I find it fun.
But let me tell you something. They have the section for the high rollers, as they call them, okay? And they have it roped off. It's isolated. And you just stand back and you just watch those people roll the dice and, and sometimes play the cards and hit the machines. And you just think about, oh, my boy, that could be me. And but you know what? It's entertainment.
It is entertainment. And I don't know if you've noticed, but, gambling is extremely popular in Asian countries.
Oh, is it?
And there are many, many Asian gamblers in Las Vegas.
That's exactly right. Many of them.
And if you go, as we have done years ago, to Macau, which was a Portuguese territory, near Hong Kong, I do remember going there with my husband, and they had a boat that you walked onto, and people were gambling, and they were really, really upset if you tried to get in and gamble yourself because it was so very serious. It was a different atmosphere. Las Vegas people, most people don't care whether you're doing it or not, but there it was really a very serious situation.
And I tell you this, any casino, I think Dr. Reese will agree with me on this, and Aaron, it's the most diversified place in America. If you want to see diversity, if you want to see true American diversity, go to a casino.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, I walked into in Atlantic City. I saw every single type of person imaginable.
Does not discriminate, nor do you think about it.
Exactly.
They make everybody feel at home and that they're equal.
That's a good thing.
That's so true. Yes. Money and gambling, the great equalizers.
Yeah, exactly. Brings everyone together.
Everybody at the table, everybody's happy.
Aaron, when you're home in San Francisco, do you ever go to an Indian casino?
I've never been to one. Maybe one of these days, but I've never been to one. No, I really should.
Well, I don't know about should, but it might be interesting.
It's interesting. Gambling is
moderation.
a big part of the American fabric. Whether it's bingo, we are gamblers. It's true.
That's true.
I guess we like taking risks.
You know what? People want the American dream. They believe these people sit around dreaming at home, planning their vacation. It's just like the settlers. They found gold. They wanted to go to these places and strike it rich. People go to Vegas and Atlantic City, and whether you could dismiss it or whatever, they actually have convinced themselves in all their planning. They see little signs. They say, oh, I've seen this sign. I'm going for it. I'm going to come back and I'm going to buy this. I'm going to have this. I'm moving out of this. This is it. I'm going to Vegas and I'm going to find my pot of gold. And the casino banks on that mentality.
Of course.
A lot of people have that mentality. You can probably, I think a lot of people rightly still buy into the American dream, and it's in a way it's kind of inspiring. It's just unfortunately so many people end up losing their money.
You know what my attitude is as a businessman? I go to Vegas, I will come back with less money than when I left with. That's my attitude. I will have less. I never see myself as ever having more.
But it has to be what you can afford to lose.
Well, people are not gambling what they can afford. They're gambling what they want to have.
That's the trick.
They're risking it all.
Yeah.
And listen,
that's the trick. When you went with your friend to Atlantic City and he was spending all that money, was it all money that he could have afforded to lose?
Oh, he could afford it. Oh, yeah, he could afford it.
Exactly.
Oh,
that's
please.
a big difference from the person who can't afford it.
And the amazing thing, if you talk about diversity, I've never seen so many senior citizens in my life in a casino.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about 50, 60, and 62. I'm talking about 70, 80, and 90.
Oh, yes.
Makes sense.
Yes. Still thinking, well, maybe there is a pot of gold, and maybe it's not too late for me to find it.
And they're sitting there on their little
that's not what we should think of as the best American dream, though.
But you know what? You can feel their isolation, their loneliness. They're hoping for something. You can feel it. It is just that strong. We're coming back. Dr. Reese, Aaron, Alex, Army, don't go away. 1-866. 1-866-620-6620. We'll be back.
Say bye-bye burgers, pass on the pizza, forget the francs. Anytime is party time. Discover Golden Cross's authentic Jamaican-style patties. Beef, chicken, vegetables, soya, spinach, and shrimp. Feast on our great taste sensations. Jerk chicken, oxtail, sliced fish, and much more. Savor the taste of the Caribbean. Only at a Golden Cross near you. A family tradition since 1949. GoldenCrossBakery.com.
For more information on the Armstrong Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Does your school, team, church, or charity need a new fundraiser? Do you need to work out of your home or part-time? Are you a small business that can use an additional revenue stream? Then you need Yellow Llama. Do you need affordable web services or tools to enhance your existing business? Are you a graphic artist who wants to create a revenue stream with your art but not get ripped off? Then go to www.yellowllama.com.
Anderson Brothers Bank, a family-owned and operated establishment that blends traditional personal service, local market awareness, and advanced technology to meet the financial needs of its customers. Visit abbank.com or call 843-464-6271 to see how they can assist you with your banking needs. Anderson Brothers Bank, celebrating 75 years of community banking, the way it should be. Stability right in your backyard since 1933.
America must change course if we hope to survive and save the American dream for our children and grandchildren. How do we fix Social Security and Medicare? How do we cut government spending? How do we reform health care? How do we simplify the tax code? The Heritage Foundation has a bold plan that tackles these tough problems using common sense solutions that leave partisan politics on the sidelines. Find out how we can save the American dream at savingthedream.org, paid for by the Heritage Foundation.
Join the millions of Americans who pursue one of our country's finest traditions, from hunting to sport shooting. Since 1871, the NRA has grown as a service organization involved in all aspects of shooting sports and is a proud defender of the Bill of Rights. Join today to begin taking advantage of exclusive membership offers and discounts, including up to $25,000 in insurance coverage. Contact the NRA today. Call 1-800-672 3888 or visit nra.org.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
You know, I don't want to think that I'm out of touch, but I really don't understand. You know, the president was in Russia today, and he was in St. Petersburg. He did not go to Moscow because he abruptly canceled his meeting with Putin a month or so ago after he granted asylum to Edward Snowden. But Putin, because the president left Sweden to go to St. Petersburg. But anyhow, Putin said earlier today that John Kerry was a liar.
I saw that.
And he knows he's lying, and he should be ashamed of himself, okay? In terms of the ever-presence and the strong presence of Al-Qaeda in Syria. Putin met the president at the airport, but there would be no meeting. And as much as the president is trying to lobby the world leaders to support him in this war, Putin is doing everything he can to work against him. And, you know, this is the strange thing for me. You know, I am such a faithful American citizen, but I don't see how we can justify going into Syria. It just doesn't make any sense to me. 65% of the American people are against us going in Syria. 70% see no justification for the war. But yet, Congress is going to pollute the will of the people. You know, this is why Vietnam was so unpopular. This happened before. In the late 60s and the early 70s with Vietnam, the people didn't want it. And you're going to tell me you're elected by the people and you're going to defy the people and do what you want to do? Are you kidding me, Dr. Reese?
Well, I don't always think that the people turn out to have been right, but I do feel very strongly, as you do, about this possibility of an airstrike into Syria. I cannot support this. I cannot understand what is supposed to be the justification. I totally believe that Assad is a monster. I think what he's done and is doing is monstrous, and I think we simply must not do this because we don't know what's on the other side of doing it, for one thing. And why just our doing it is justifiable.
I agree.
Why isn't the rest of the world angry enough to decide on some kind of behavior that can work? And why do we have to do it right now?
I agree. I mean,
why can't we wait?
The thing about the military intervention is that it's only it's justifiable only if if we America is attacked, if there's an imminent threat of us being attacked, or if an ally has been attacked, or an ally is imminently threatened of being attacked. I don't think this is the case here. One side you have Assad. Obviously, as you said, he's a monster. He's also a client of Iran. He's a client of Russia. Partly why Putin's so involved in this, because he wants to keep an ally of his, Assad, in there. So obviously he's not good. But on the other side you have the rebels, and we keep hearing how these rebels are so moderate. That's why Kerry and McCain and Graham keep saying, but they're not moderate. There was a report out on Reuters, I think about today or yesterday, that said that John Kerry's claim of there being moderates in the rebels simply wasn't true. I mean, or at least he grossly over-exaggerated it. I mean, there are some moderates, but they're so small and they're so fragmented that the Al-Qaeda extremists have more influence and are better organized. And some of the ones that claim to be moderates, the Free Syrian Army, I mean, they're basically Muslim Brotherhood operatives. And you know that if Assad goes, that Al-Qaeda and or the Muslim Brotherhood would take over, given that Syria is 74% Sunni, which is what Al-Qaeda and the Muslim Brotherhood are, which is why I think it makes sense to me why Obama would support the rebels, because the fact of the matter is that he loves the Muslim Brotherhood because they're the community organizers of the Arabs. And just look at how he supported Morsi in Egypt. And, I think he still supports the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, which is why he supports it. And, again, the fact, and then going back to the people, I mean, it's firstly, only 9% of the people support going to war. And what you see over and over again is we're seeing this is just one of many examples of the government going against the will of the people. And I feel that something is systemically wrong with our current system of government when you constantly have the government ruling against the will of its people over and over again.
Dr. Reese?
Well, I think you have a few different strands of argument there, Aaron. For example, when you just talk in the abstract about the will of the people, I mean, the will of the people was once to have slavery. Should the government not have gone against it?
I'm surprised you're making that comparison. That's totally...
It's an absurd comparison.
It is a really absurd comparison. I'm trying to understand.
Right. I mean,
and you don't make absurd comparisons.
And there are some moral absolutes, and obviously there's a moral absolute that slavery is wrong.
Absolutely.
And eventually we did abolish slavery.
They destroyed it. Yes. We're talking about something entirely different here.
The people who are trying to make a case now are saying that one of the few things that the world has agreed upon since the end of the First World War is that the kind of warfare that Assad is waging, which is the use of gas, is a moral absolute.
Well, wait a minute. Listen, Saddam Hussein used it on the Kurds, and nobody seemed to care.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing we shouldn't be doing this. I'm agreeing that I will be against it forever, is how I feel. But I think that argument that just because it's the will of the people not to do it is not a valid argument, because sometimes the will of the people is full of nonsense because the people are uninformed.
Well, sometimes that's the case, but I think my point was that was of a larger point which is over and over again you have the government going against the will of the people on a number of different issues, and and when it's every single issue, it seems that, I mean, to me, that seems like there's something wrong with the government. I mean, yes, the will of the people can be wrong. There's a reason why we don't have majoritarianism, but on every single issue, I think then there's something wrong with our government.
I think this should be argued on its point, not on whether government in the abstract is something that you really don't like and would like to see less of, because that's a whole other thing. That is largely, these days, about politics. I don't want to see this become a political thing where you're using the terms organizers as a pejorative.
Wait, how is organizers a political term?
Because every time it is spoken of, that the president is spoken of as having been a community organizer, it's as though he's done something bad.
Well, because he was community organizer for these radical Saul Alinsky organizations. That's why.
Yeah, well, a lot of people think he did a lot of good with that.
Yeah, but we should not get off the real issue here, which is Syria.
All right.
That's the issue here.
That's my point. Exactly, Armstrong. As soon as people start using emotionally laden terms like community organizer,
I'm arguing out of reason, but
it's because it's related to the work of Saul Alinsky, we should be suspicious.
But we should.
That is getting way off the point, which is Syria.
Listen, all I can tell you is this.
Syria is that it is such a complex situation and place that we should be holding back, and we should be getting as much world opinion together as we can. We should be getting the people there deciding what to do, and we shouldn't be making these airstrikes.
Under no circumstances should we be making them. I'm sorry.
That's right. That's how I feel. I totally agree with you on that. What I disagree with is politicizing this and suggesting, trying to lead to an argument that somehow our president is just not as patriotic as some other people.
That's not what we're talking about. My only issue today, it's not just the president. You got Boehner, you got Reed, you have Pelosi, you have Cantor. I mean, all these people are supporting this war.
I agree with you totally on this.
Yes, it is a bipartisan disaster. And the American people need to rise up against all of them and say, look, you work for us. We don't work for you.
Exactly. That's the point I was trying to make earlier,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Reese, now when are you going to England?
Well, I'm not going to England, I'm afraid, but I am going to California in a couple of weeks.
There you
go. I'll be on next week with you, but for 2 weeks after that, I have to travel on Thursdays, and Dr. Fleischer's going to be here alone with you.
What are we going to do with it?
Oh, my gosh.
You remember that song, I Can't Live Without You?
I Can't Live Without You.
You remember that song? Remember that song? It had you in mind. I can't even give without you. Don't want to live anymore. But listen, this has been a terrific discussion today, unplanned, having you on with us today. Could you tell them how to access the Elder Chick site?
Oh, for sure. And this month is really exciting to read it because we're talking about the book that's coming out soon and is now already on Amazon.
Cha.
You will go to www.elderchicks.com, all one word, Elder Chicks. They'll learn all about it, and they'll even have a link. And while they're on Amazon, they might want to check out Reawakening Virtues.
Oh, you're too kind.
By whom?
Thank you.
Who wrote that?
I think somebody I know, but thank you. All the best. Good day, everybody.
Good day, you too, sir.
Good night.
For more information on